Okay, so we're going to do brow wax and tint today on Chloe. Before we start the process, we're just going to give her brows a wipe with a bit of cleanser that's on the pad, making sure that they're clean and free from oil. You mix your tint, which we've already got ready. You are then applying the tint on the natural hairs, which is basically going to dye them whichever colour you use. We're using natural brown today. Now you can use like a protector, which will stop the tint from going on the face. I don't generally tend to use it, so it is up to you whether you want to start using it or not, but I don't think it is necessary. So you're just going along and you are creating the shape with the tint that you were going to be doing the brows. Now it doesn't really matter if there is a little bit out of shape, because when we come to take it off and wax the area, it'll take it off then. So most people want bigger brows, darker, more defined, bold. So we just apply this before we do the wax. Getting right in, so you're getting all the baby hairs that are underneath growing through, you're getting them dyed as well. So once you take it off, they do appear more bold, dark. The skin does actually dye as well, but it just doesn't last that long on the skin as it does compared to the hair. And you're just applying the tint in the direction of the hair growth. If you just apply it like that, you can then shape it with a cotton bud if you want to take any excess off. And then you're just leaving it on to develop for a couple of minutes. Depending on which product you use, then the developing time will be different. It's usually about 3 to 5 minutes. So while that one's setting, we're just going to go on to the other side. Same application, you're just brushing the tint all the way through in the direction of the hair growth. So now we're going to remove the tint, and we've just got a bit of cleanser on there, and you're just pressing hard and pulling it off. Now I usually give the brows a little trim just before I wax them. It just eliminates, like, if you was to put a little bit too much wax on and you accidentally taking a bit more of the brows off than you should. And what I usually do as well, I just put a little tiny bit of waxing oil on the client's skin where I'm going to wax. You don't necessarily have to do this, but the reason why I do it is it just stops the skin from having any little waxing, grazing burns. So just make sure all the hair is out of the way, and then you're going to be doing the waxing. So using your hot wax, you are going around the shape of the brows, catching all the little hairs, and we're going to start off doing the arch here. You're just applying the wax in the same direction as the hairs growing, and you're going right up to the brow to where you want to take off. If you was to catch any of the brow and you put it on and you pull the wax strip off, it will take the brow off, so you have to be just really careful where you're putting it, and you're putting it in the correct place. And you get your wax strip, and you're putting it on, and you're pressing really hard, and you're just smoothing the wax along. And then to take it off, you're pulling it in the opposite direction as the hair's growing. You're holding your client's face and you're pulling, and you can see, and that's just taking that little bit off. And then you go in again from the tip corner, and you're pulling it right along. So I push it up a little bit so it's getting the shape and pulling it along. And then you're placing the wax strip right over and you're smoothing it out so it catches the hairs. Flick the bottom of the strip up, hold your client's face and pull. So this is the part where usually the hair grows the most. So when you applying the hot wax, you do have to shape it round to catch the hairs, what you want taking off. You're pulling down, same direction as the hairs are growing. So again, we're just trimming these up before we wax. And then once you've done your waxing, you are just wiping the brows over with some waxing oil. It's just, as you can see, the skin goes a bit red once you've waxed. And then you're just checking, you might need to go over and trim them again. If there's any excess wax still left on the brows, the oil just takes it off. And then you just want to be checking if there's any that you need to go over, if the shape's correct, if you need to pluck any little ones, if there's just one or two. Like that one there, I would just go in with the tweezer and pull it out. And give your brows a good brush. They don't really need cutting anymore, but if you had the odd one or two that were quite long, you could just give it a trim. And that's it, you're done.